Are the judges ready? Timer?
Yes.
-T. The greatest country, the richest country, is not that which has the most capitalists, monopolists, and fast fortunes, with its sad, sad soil of extreme degrading poverty, but the land where wealth does not show such contrasts, high and low, where all men have enough, a modest living, and no man is made possessor beyond the sane and beautiful necessities. Walt Whitman. As stated before, I affirm the resolution that the U.S. government has the obligation to lessen the economic gap between its rich and poor citizens. My value is political legitimacy, which is the right of a government to be a government. Whether a government is legitimate and whether citizens have political obligations towards it depends on whether the coercive political power that the government exercises is justified. I think the gap between rich and poor is an extremely dangerous phenomenon and needs the immediate attention of the state. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I agree with Alexander Solzhenitsyn because the economic gap is extremely dangerous to the longevity of our country as a whole. Thomas Paine in The Rights of Man said, "When it can be said by any country in the world, my poor are happy, neither ignorance nor distress is to be found among them. My jails are empty of prisoners, my streets of beggars, the aged are not in want, the taxes are not oppressive. The rational world is my friend, because I am the friend of happiness. When these things can be said, then may that country boast its constitution and government." If America is to boast of its independence, and if this nation is to remain politically intact and economically vibrant, then it must lessen the economic gap because it fulfills its constitution. In addition to my four contentions that each gave reasons that the U.S. should lessen the economic gap, another way the U.S. could fulfill its constitution by lessening the economic gap is to redistribute income. The law of diminishing returns states that as income increases, there is a diminishing marginal utility. If you have an income of $2 million a year, an increase in income to $2.5 million gives only marginal increase in happiness or utility. For example, your third sports car gives only a small increase in total utility. However, if you are not unemployed and surviving on $50 a week, a 10% increase in income gives a substantial boost in living standards and quality of life. Therefore, redistributing income can lead to a net welfare gain for society and should thus be an obligation of the U.S. government. In addition to the fact that lessening the economic gap upholds our Constitution, it is also likely a necessity for our country to survive. The Greek historian and philosopher Plutarch once said, "An imbalance between rich and poor is the oldest and fatal ailment of all republics."